You are joining the trend of sourdough bakers across this planet, and you're possibly using my starter flakes, and that's what this video is going to show you, how to get that started and keep it going. Possibly you've purchased this kit from me, which includes the 3 linen couche, the starter flakes, and the recipes and care instructions. So that's what this video is about. We're going to get you going so that you can create your own sourdough bread and be successful. If you're having troubles, feel free to contact me. So this is what you're aiming at. Day 3, lots of bubbly sourdough starter there. That's your mother, and you're going to create your own mother. So it's going to go from Mrs. L to whatever you want to call her. I'm going to walk you through day 1, how to hydrate your flakes so that you can get these results. Right here we have an example of day 2 and 3. So we're going to start right from the beginning and do day 1. As you can see, day 3 obviously got a little bit away on me. It actually bubbled over the top and now it's receded, but you can still see it's nice and bubbly and it would be easily ready to use. So I have the water pre-measured for day 1. So we've got day 1, day 2, and day 3. And I will show you how you're going to make day 1. It's only got 30 grams of water, which is 2 tablespoons approximately of water. Some people think I've made a typo because you only need 30 grams of water, but it's not. You need that much water at about 90 degrees and this package of starter flakes and you'll be good to go. So I crunch up Mrs. L a little bit, make her pieces a bit smaller, just all will absorb the water a bit quicker. And you're just going to pour that into your 2 tablespoons of water. So once your flakes are in your water, you're going to just use a fork, push it down, make sure that all the flakes are immersed in water, and then you are going to be able to just put it down, put the lid on, and it's just on loosely, and you leave that for the next 24 hours, and in 24 hours, this is what you're going to have. Fully absorbed, a little bit slooshy, and ready to be fed. Day 2. So you're ready to feed day 2 now. So you're going to get your 30 grams of water, your 2 tablespoons, and pour that into your container. And then you will get your flour, which is approximately 1/4 cup. But again, the best thing to have is a scale. Put that into your container, which you should really use something larger. These were just really cute little containers I had, but obviously not very practical. Use your fork or a spatula, something to just stir that in really well. The fork kind of helps with a little aeration. And once you feel that you've incorporated your flour fully, and the advantage of a glass jar is that you can kind of look around and underneath to make sure that all the flour is wet. And then you are ready to let that rest another 24 hours. You're going to put a loose lid on because you want the air to be able to get at it but not dry it out. And then tomorrow morning you will wake up and you should have all these bubbles. And if you have it in a larger jar, obviously it won't overflow. So lovely bubbles on day 3. Now is when you see the value of owning a scale. It helps you be consistent with your bread making and obviously accurate to very small measurements, as this bread only takes 40 grams of your mother, Mrs. L, or whatever you happen to name her. And that's obviously not very much, but this is going to make 3 600-gram loaves of bread, and this is all the starter you need to get all that lovely sourdough flavor. So now you're going to learn my favorite trick in the kitchen, reverse scaling. So I have a larger amount of flour on my scale. I zero it out and I'm going to take out what I need. So instead of having 160 grams positive going into my levain bowl, I'm going to be minus 160 grams from the bowl that I have on the scale. And this just helps so that you don't over pour, especially when it comes to something like water or salt. That's something that you don't want to make a mistake on. So I love this trick of using reverse scaling. So I've scooped out my flour and I see that my scale is at 185, but I only want 160. So I pour a little bit back until I get the number that I want. So I haven't ruined anything in my levain bowl. I just pour that little bit of flour back in until I have my 160 and I'm good to go. Do the same thing now with my whole wheat, which is again a fairly small amount. So it's nice to just try this reverse scaling so that you Take out what you need, put a little bit back until you've got the number that you like. And if you're a gram either side, you're good to go. Now do the same thing with your water. I didn't choose a very practical container to do this with, but you get the point. I'm taking the water out so that for sure I'm not going to put too much water into my levain. So you get your last bit of water in there, and now you're ready to stir it all together. So you're going to stir that with a fork. You can use your hand, whatever you're comfortable with. This stage, it's just such a small amount, I'd find, to do it with a fork. And you stir that together until you feel everything is incorporated. And it's going to be a fairly solid piece of dough. And that is then going to be ready to sit until 3 o'clock this afternoon. We started this at 8 in the morning. And you're ready to just let that rest for the day with a loose lid. Your loose lid is on, and that's going to rest, like I said, until 3 o'clock this afternoon. But you're not actually ready to have your coffee yet. It's time to take care of your mother. So now you've done everything that I've instructed you with Mrs. L to get her to day 3. So now you're going to decide where you want her to go from here. So you can name it now, whatever you want, because she's all yours. So we're going to discard most of what's in this container. Discard is a word that you're going to see a lot in different recipes. Sometimes recipes have you make a lot of levain and throw out quite a bit. I prefer to make my levain exactly the size of whatever recipe I'm making, but I do tend to end up with a little bit of extra mother usually, which is nice because it's nice to have a little bit of a safety net for my recipes. So getting her going again, you're just going to need about a tablespoon in your container. And again, like I said, use a jar that's bigger than what I've got here. And you're going to add 30 grams of water, 30 grams of flour, whatever kind of flour you want, or whatever other equal measurement you want to maintain your mother. So if you're going to want to make a bigger recipe tomorrow, then make a bigger mother today. And if you're just wanting to store this in the refrigerator till next week, you only need to make the small amount and then refresh it when you get about 24 hours before you're going to make your recipe again. So I've added my 30 grams of water there, and now I'm going to add, by using reverse scaling, I'm going to add another 30 grams of flour. So this is going to be ready to either keep it out because I want to make bread tomorrow, or if you want to, and this is the way I tend to bake a lot, I just stir this up and put it straight into my refrigerator. And that's going to cause it to grow slowly because of the cool temperature, and I'm not going to get that bubbling over like I did on day 3 sample there. So it's going to go into the refrigerator with a tight lid. Remember, tight lid in the fridge, loose lid out of the fridge. And it's going to grow slowly in the fridge until I need it again. If you want it to grow really slowly because you're taking a vacation, then put a little bit more flour in it than you do water. So instead of equal weights, you're going to put about another 20% of flour in, and that just causes the whole process to slow down even more. And when you're ready, you just take most of it out, the discard, and leave your tablespoon or so and freshen things up. And you'll be ready for your recipe again. So tight lid in the refrigerator and loose lid out of the refrigerator. So there you go, days 1, 2, and 3 and beyond. Hopefully you're going to get these kinds of results, get those lovely bubbles on day 3 so that you know you're ready to go. Give your mother a fun name. Use your linen couche. It'll help keep your dough from sticking in the fridge overnight. And above all, I'd really love to see the results that you're getting. And if you're having any problems, certainly get in contact with me. But I have full confidence that between this video and the video of actually creating the overnight refrigerated sourdough, that you will get some beautiful results to please your family and friends.